One person who was always anti-Diddy and was always speaking about Diddy as a problematic person was 50 Cent.
He would do a lot of foul shit. Like, behind the scenes, he would do some foul shit. Like,
But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami.
The moment Diddy saw 50 Cent walk into that courtroom, his face said it all. Eyes wide, jaw clenched, hands shaking under the table. This wasn't the cool, collected music mogul we've seen for decades. By day 3 of the trial, witnesses reported Diddy completely lost his composure when 50 Cent publicly announced his support for Cassie. What happened next shocked everyone in the courtroom and could change everything about this case.
Now, Fifth, when you continuously call Puff gay, does that affect your relationships in Hollywood?
I don't call him gay. I said,
Let me read it, Fifth.
Oh my God.
Sorry I can no longer help you guys. Soon you will all be gay and happy. You are all now left under leadership of Puffy Daddy. Report to the nearest rainbow. Dinner Thieves in theaters January 19th.
That's why he says things. He doesn't even know what he's saying is like fruity. You know what I'm saying? Like, he said something fabulous and he goes, but me and you, we ain't party. Like, we need to party. What is he talking about?
Incense has gone off.
When people say that to me, I get a little uncomfortable. I get uncomfortable. Like, he said something to me one time, a long time ago. At Chris Lighty's wedding, he told me he'd take me shopping. I looked at him like, what'd you just say? Let me move, man, before I do something. You're gonna make me mess up the wedding.
Oh, that's a nice gesture.
Let me get out of No, dude, take me. That's what a guy says to a girl.
Did he do it, right?
Yeah.
I know you've been heavy on social media talking about it.
He did it. And I'm the only one who's been vocal about this long before it actually. But I also didn't participate. I also didn't go to those parties.
Yeah.
So a lot of the celebrity culture that you don't hear saying anything is because they participated.
Was there a reason you never went to those parties back in the day?
I'm just not with all that flicky shit. Like all of the stuff that he's doing, I'm not into that type of stuff. I'm just a little more, maybe you could say basic or normal.
Sean Diddy Combs built an empire on image control. For 30 years, we've watched him walk red carpets with a perfect smile, handle tough interviews without breaking a sweat, and manage public scandals without ever losing his cool. His reputation? The unshakable music mogul who stays composed no matter what. Remember that 2017 interview when a reporter asked about rumors of payoffs to former employees? Diddy just smiled, adjusted his suit jacket, and smoothly changed the subject without even blinking. Or the time his restaurant venture failed in 2012, and he showed up to the closing night party acting like it was all part of some master plan. That's classic Diddy, never letting anyone see him sweat. His team made sure this perfect image stayed intact. Sources close to Diddy revealed he employs a staff of 12 people just to manage his public appearance. From rehearsed responses to practiced facial expressions, everything about Diddy in public was calculated. His former assistant told me Diddy would practice interview answers in the mirror for hours before TV appearances. He even had a special media trainer on retainer who would create surprise scenarios to test his ability to stay calm under pressure. But behind those designer sunglasses, former employees have whispered about rage issues for years. There were two Diddys, a former Bad Boy Records staffer told me off the record. The smooth operator everyone saw on TV, and the guy who threw phones at walls when things didn't go his way. These stories never stuck because nobody with real power ever backed them up. The first cracks in this perfect image started showing just days before the trial. Photographers caught Diddy snapping at a fan who asked for a picture outside his lawyer's office. Then came that tense pre-trial press conference where he gripped the podium so hard his knuckles turned white. Small things, but for a man who spent millions on image control, these slips were telling. PR crisis manager Tanya Rodriguez explained to me how this works. Celebrities like Diddy build personas like fortress walls, but under enough pressure those walls crack, and once they start cracking, the whole structure can come down fast. That's exactly what happened on day 3. According to multiple courtroom witnesses, the carefully crafted Diddy mask completely fell apart. Court reporter Marcus Jenkins described seeing Diddy physically shaking when certain evidence was presented. His leg was bouncing so hard the defense table was moving, Jenkins noted. Diddy interrupted his own lawyer 3 separate times, growing louder each time until the judge finally stepped in. The breaking point came when Diddy suddenly shouted out during testimony, forcing Judge Harmon to warn him that one more outburst would result in contempt charges. Observers described his face as twisted with anger, something the public had literally never seen in 30 years of fame. Just when it seemed Diddy might pull himself together, the courtroom doors opened, and someone walked in who changed everything. The one person Diddy never expected to see supporting his accuser, his longtime industry rival with an axe to grind and the resources to make things difficult. The moment 50 Cent stepped into that courtroom, witnesses say Diddy's face went completely pale.
And it turns out that it's just been announced that he's created a docu-series on Netflix. I can't wait to see this. The other end of that, every person who has tried to speak out about this, who has tried to speak out about the industry, the type of people that are controlling the industry, the attacks that people face from the media if they try to speak out, is always the same. They're called crazy. And an example of one such individual who went through those sorts of attacks is the actor Orlando Brown. He was on Disney, and I remember everyone telling us that he was totally insane and deranged when he was saying a lot of things that at the time sounded crazy, particularly about Diddy. Take a listen.
The requirement is you gotta say no to Diddy. If it's new booty in the building, you know he gonna get it.
Don't take your girlfriend to a Diddy party.
You can take the but he won't you.
Diddy, to me, is the fall guy. We are still seeing a major effort to protect the big names, just like with Jeffrey Epstein.
Tell him the story.
Tell him the story. So we talking about rumors, right?
Yeah.
And we, when you Google his name, there's a rumor that pops up that he was Diddy's boy toy.
Oh shit!
Right?
Wait, so this is
so Charlamagne said
it's not true. But I told after he brought up this stuff with you, I said, you know what 50 gonna say when he meets you?
Oh no, I don't know that was going on.
You know,
I can't wait to run into him again.
See, what you gonna say to him?
Puffy was playing with your booty in Miami.
You know what 50 gonna say to you when he sees? What? I heard Diddy touch your butt.
Yeah. Wait till I see him. Wait till I see him. I'm like, yo. Yeah.
What's happening with Puffy? I know you're not really tapped in, but what
the last thing I saw was like a guy there. He was like, yo, he like pushed me into the truck. It really hurt. And he sounded me. Like he sounded me. I was like, yo, look. I could find other things to do for money.
The rivalry between 50 Cent and Diddy goes back almost 2 decades. These two haven't just disliked each other. They've actively gone after one another since the early 2000s. 50 has never hidden his feelings about Diddy, calling him out on radio shows, in interviews, and especially on social media. Remember when 50 accused Diddy of knowing something about Biggie's murder? Or when he publicly questioned Diddy's sexuality for years? This wasn't just rap beef. This was personal. So when 50 Cent walked into that courtroom on day 3 wearing a perfectly tailored black suit and those signature sunglasses, the entire room froze. Court reporter Janelle Martin told me the silence was so thick you could hear people's phones vibrating in their pockets. Diddy, who'd been whispering to his attorney, stopped mid-sentence. His head snapped up, and according to 3 different witnesses, his expression changed from confusion to shock to something that looked an awful lot like fear. No one expected 50 to physically show up. Sure, he'd been trolling Diddy online since Cassie filed her lawsuit. Just last month, 50 posted that hotel surveillance video showing Diddy allegedly assaulting Cassie in 2016 with the caption, "Money can't hide who you really are." The post got over 12 million views. He followed that up with a series of Instagram posts suggesting he had more receipts about Diddy's behavior. What most people don't realize is 50 had been communicating with Cassie's legal team for weeks. A source close to the situation told me 50's team reached out right after Cassie filed her lawsuit. He told them he believed her story and wanted to help however he could, my source revealed. 50 has always known how to play the long game against his enemies. As 50 took a seat in the back row, the courtroom energy completely shifted. Every head turned back and forth between him and Diddy like they were watching a tennis match. Diddy tried to focus on his lawyer's notes, but courtroom sketches show him repeatedly glancing over his shoulder. Then came the bombshell. During the lunch recess, 50 stepped outside to a crowd of waiting reporters. He didn't just express support for Cassie, he announced he was personally funding additional legal support for her case through his G-Unity Foundation. "I'm putting money behind making sure survivors get heard," 50 told the press, "and I'm going to help more women come forward with their stories about powerful men in this industry." He even added, "This isn't about me and Diddy's history. This is about right and wrong." When this news reached Diddy inside the courtroom, witnesses say his reaction was instant and violent. He slammed his fist on the defense table so hard his water glass tipped over. His lawyer tried to calm him down, but Diddy was visibly shaking. Court security even moved closer to the defense table. The timing couldn't have been worse for Diddy because just as this confrontation reached its peak, the prosecution announced they were about to present new evidence they claimed would prove Diddy had lied under oath. And what played on the courtroom screens next left absolutely no one prepared for what they were about to see.
He would do a lot of foul shit. Like, behind the scenes, he would do some foul shit. Like, hating on, like, doing things with people I'd done business with that he'd done business with. He would say shit that I was like, he said that to you?
Right.
I was like, yeah, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and niggas don't know what they like till they see somebody with it. So they want the girls after you're done with them and shit.
Yeah. Leftovers.
Yeah.
You take your leftovers. A lot of niggas have my leftovers.
Honestly, was not offended by what I was offended by. This is
wow, they found Kendrick and Wifey.
You know, that's obviously doing shopping. They got the same outfit.
Yeah, it's
wore
true.
it in public.
Yeah, that's a nice shirt. That was a nice shirt. All right, so when he said the shopping line, in real life, what did you say?
I said, let me get away from him. Because it was like, he was like, yo, you hot now. Now we got to hang out now. Like, you know, like hang out.
Yeah.
He said, I don't know, maybe I'll take you shopping and I get you some flash and you could give me the hood shit. And I was looking and I was like, let me just move away from him because I'm going to mess up the wedding. I always say to myself, like,
it was someone's wedding?
It was Chris Lighty's wedding. It was in Miami. Nori's there. Nori knows this because I looked at him like, yo.
The courtroom was already electric with tension after 50 Cent's surprise appearance. You could practically feel the air crackling as everyone waited for what would happen next. The prosecution team had this look on their faces, that confident, almost smug expression that said they were about to drop something big. Your Honor, we'd like to present evidence item 47B, the lead prosecutor announced. The defense team looked confused. According to my source in the room, Diddy's lead attorney immediately stood up, objecting, Your Honor, we haven't been provided with any item labeled 47B in discovery. That's when everyone realized something unexpected was happening. The judge called both legal teams to the bench. They huddled in intense conversation for almost 5 minutes, while Diddy sat alone at the defense table, repeatedly looking back at 50 Cent, who hadn't moved from his spot in the back row. The courtroom artist told me Diddy kept cracking his knuckles one by one, something she noticed he only started doing when things got tense. When the attorneys returned to their tables, Diddy's lawyer looked defeated. The judge spoke directly to the jury. The court will allow this evidence, as it was only discovered yesterday. The prosecutor then explained they had obtained security footage from Diddy's Miami residence dated April 2018. The courtroom screens lit up, and that's when everything changed. The footage showed what appeared to be Diddy and Cassie in a hallway. Though the video had no sound, the body language was clear. Diddy was pointing and yelling, backing Cassie against a wall. Then came the moment that caused audible gasps in the courtroom. The video showed Diddy grabbing Cassie by the shoulders and shaking her violently before pushing her to the ground. Diddy's reaction was immediate. He stood up so fast his chair fell backward. "That's not what happened," he shouted before his attorney physically pulled him back down. The lawyer frantically whispered in his ear, but Diddy's face had transformed. His eyes were wide, his breathing visibly heavy. A court officer moved closer to the defense table. What made this footage so devastating wasn't just what it showed, but what Diddy had claimed under oath just the day before. He had specifically stated, "I have never in any instance physically assaulted Ms. Ventura or any woman." He even added, "There are no videos or evidence of such behavior because it never occurred." As the prosecutor pointed out these contradictions, Diddy's composure completely collapsed. He kept shaking his head, muttering to himself, and at one point even put his head down on the table. His attorney requested a brief recess, but the judge denied it, saying, "We will continue with the proceedings. Mr. Combs needs to maintain his composure." The bailiff later told reporters he'd never seen a defendant's demeanor change so dramatically during a single court session. "It was like watching someone transform right in front of you," he said. As the court day ended, this explosive evidence immediately rippled through Hollywood. Texts started flying between celebrity circles, people choosing sides, questioning loyalties. The carefully constructed wall of silence around Diddy's behavior started crumbling as fast as his courtroom composure had. and no one could have predicted how quickly his famous friends would start abandoning ship.
I feel like all these years, you've been the only one calling this out.
I look like I've been the crazy guy for a long time.
They said you're a hater. They said you're crazy.
You do this, yeah, and now everybody's complaining. My ass is hurting. There's all this shit that's coming.
50, you can't make jokes about it.
No.
The internet might come for you, bro.
All I'm saying
is might come for you.
You see it now. All of these complaints. People were damn, they were and pillaged. This was never going on. Right? And what do I get for I went through years of a hater. You're a hater. You want this and that. I'm just watching. Like, I look at things and go, when you see the new lawsuit coming with Jay, the part with Jay, I go, oh, shoot. Like, then I think about it, I go, that had to be there. So when I was saying that he was missing, he just wasn't actively being out there because they was dealing with that.
Wait, do you think there's truth to the Jay thing? There's no way.
Like that. Look, like if you say, I have this thing where I'm conflicted when it takes you 20 years to remember something happened to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I go also 10 years, 20 years later, it comes back. And it's like all of Puff's problems are coming from the ministers touching little boys.
What you mean?
The laws are the way they are because
because of the priests.
The priests touching little boys.
Before the trial, celebrities stood firmly behind Diddy. His famous friends showed up at his parties, collaborated on his songs, and defended him publicly when rumors started. They formed this protective circle around him. That's how powerful Diddy was in Hollywood. Nobody wanted to risk their career by speaking against him. That all changed after day 3. The footage of Diddy allegedly assaulting Cassie combined with his courtroom meltdown shattered the code of silence. But the real catalyst? 50 Cent. By publicly backing Cassie, he gave others permission to pick sides. 50 coming out for Cassie opened the floodgates. My industry source told me yesterday. Suddenly, people felt they could support her without being the first to speak up. That's exactly what happened. Within hours of 50's courthouse appearance, the celebrity world fractured into clear camps. The unfollows started immediately. Usher, who collaborated with Diddy on multiple hits, quietly removed him from his Instagram following list. Mary J. Blige, once inseparable from Diddy during the bad boy era, did the same. Justin Bieber, who considered Diddy a mentor in his early career, not only unfollowed him, but deleted all their past photos together. These weren't random acts. This was calculated distance. The social media battlefield got messy fast. Celebrities started posting cryptic messages that didn't name Diddy directly, but left little doubt about their meaning. Lizzo posted a simple "believe women" with no context. The Weeknd shared a black screen with the words, "Power doesn't equal truth." Even Drake, who usually stays out of industry drama, posted "The truth always surfaces eventually," right after the courtroom video leaked. Some took more direct approaches. Cardi B went live on Instagram saying, "I've seen this type of behavior in the industry for years. It's time we stop protecting abusers just because they got money." She never mentioned Diddy by name, but everyone knew exactly who she meant. The most telling sign of Diddy's falling star? His calls aren't being returned. A member of his management team revealed to me that several A-listers who previously answered Diddy's calls immediately are now screening him. He's called Rihanna 6 times since the courtroom incident. She hasn't picked up once, my source confirmed. Similar stories about Beyoncé and Jay-Z refusing to release supportive statements despite desperate requests from Diddy's team are circulating throughout the industry. Meanwhile, support for Cassie grows stronger each day. Female artists who previously worked with Diddy are reaching out to her legal team, offering to testify about their own experiences. Celebrities who never publicly comment on legal matters are posting messages supporting her. Lady Gaga sent flowers to Cassie's home with a note saying simply, "I believe you," according to someone close to Cassie. This shift would have been unimaginable just a week ago. Diddy's iron grip on the industry meant criticizing him could end careers. Now, the balance of power has completely flipped. With each passing day, more celebrities abandon his sinking ship. But the real explosion was yet to come. As celebrities chose sides and evidence mounted, Diddy's fragile composure finally shattered completely. In a courtroom outburst that left everyone, including the judge, completely stunned.
How much is this guy trying to get?
I don't know. Like, it's a simple suit situation, but it's like
20 mil. I can say it.
You still have to black his face out.
Yes.
You still have to mimic his voice because he's like,
but his
damn.
voice wasn't even that different.
And a little deeper. I was like, almost like, no, that's you, young buck.
Yo,
almost felt like it was him. I almost knew who it was. You know what I mean? I was like, nah. You heard what he just said, right? He's like, yo, certain things they let it go by because it's Puff. Like they would look, like he would say stuff, and it's like he wasn't like in the closet, he was like in the hallway. Now you see so much shit that you go, wait. No, this was visible.
He was in the hallway. We saw the video.
You see
we saw that video.
It comes out later. You're like, that's not the closet. That's the hallway. He didn't give a fuck. Like you can tell that he was already.
Nah, New York is dope. Because when Fab, he was like, yo, Fab, we ain't party. Fab was like, nah, we partying tonight.
He's like, no, like, but he didn't party.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, they let that one go? Like, I had to say something about it later because I was like, oh, it was
The final explosion happened during Cassie's testimony on day 3. The courtroom was packed, media in the back, celebrities scattered throughout, and 50 Cent still sitting there with his arms crossed. Diddy had been growing more agitated all morning. Court clerk Melissa Johnson noticed he kept whispering to his attorneys, each time louder than before. His leg bounced constantly under the table. He'd loosen his tie, then tighten it again. Classic signs of someone about to lose it. Cassie took the stand around 2:30 p.m. She spoke clearly, making eye contact with the jury as she described an incident from 2019. She testified Diddy had threatened her career after she tried to end their relationship. He said he made me, and he could destroy me just as easily, she stated. Diddy started shaking his head before she even finished speaking. His attorney kept placing a hand on his arm, trying to calm him down. The judge noticed too. Court reporter Damon Williams told me the judge actually wrote something on a notepad and had it passed to Diddy's lawyer, apparently a warning about his client's behavior. The breaking point came when Cassie described a party at Diddy's Hampton house in 2018. She testified he had locked her in a bedroom for 2 days after seeing her talking to another music executive. As she spoke, Diddy's face changed. His eyes widened, his jaw tightened. A vein on his forehead became visible even from the gallery. The courtroom artist captured the moment perfectly. This look of pure rage unlike anything we've seen from him before. Suddenly, Diddy stood up. His attorney grabbed his suit jacket, trying to pull him back down, but it was too late. "That's all lies," he shouted, pointing directly at Cassie. "You know what you did." The courtroom froze. Even the court reporter stopped typing for a second. Cassie flinched but kept her eyes forward, not looking at him, but Diddy wasn't done. He turned toward the back of the courtroom where 50 Cent sat. "And you," he yelled, his voice cracking with anger. "You'll regret getting involved in this." Court security immediately moved toward Diddy. 2 officers positioned themselves between him and the witness stand. Another stood directly behind his chair. Judge Harmon slammed her gavel 3 times. "Mr. Combs, you will control yourself in my courtroom," she demanded. "One more outburst and I will hold you in contempt. Security, please remain in position." Diddy's lead attorney stood up, trying to request a brief recess, but the judge cut him off. "Sit down, counsel. We will continue." The spectators couldn't believe what they were seeing. Diddy, who had built his entire brand on being cool and collected, completely losing control in public. A juror was spotted writing extensively in her notebook immediately after the outburst. Not a good sign for the defense. Through all of this, Cassie remained composed on the stand. She took a sip of water and continued her testimony as if the explosion never happened. Her attorney later told reporters this composure came from a place of newfound confidence, knowing she finally had support from powerful industry figures like 50 Cent. And speaking of 50, his response to Diddy's threat? A slight smile and a slow, deliberate nod, as if to say, "I'm exactly where I want to be." The power dynamic had shifted right before everyone's eyes, and Cassie wasn't finished telling her story. Diddy's legal team huddled in crisis mode immediately after court adjourned. Their entire defense strategy, portraying him as a calm, reasonable businessman who'd never hurt anyone, collapsed the moment he started shouting in court. A legal insider told me they spent all night rewriting their approach because the perfect gentleman angle was now impossible to sell to the jury. Their new emergency strategy? Playing the victim. Just this morning, Diddy's attorneys filed an urgent motion requesting a mistrial. The document claims 50 Cent's presence was a deliberate attempt to provoke our client and create a prejudicial environment. They even included screenshots of 50's social media posts about Diddy as evidence of a coordinated campaign to influence the trial outcome. But the judge isn't buying it. She denied the motion within hours, writing that Mr. Combs's behavior is his responsibility alone. Now, Diddy's team is scrambling to create a fallback defense that actually acknowledges some of Cassie's claims while disputing others. They're suddenly painting him as passionate but misunderstood, a complete 180 from their original approach. Meanwhile, Cassie's team is capitalizing on Diddy's meltdown perfectly. Her lead attorney has requested the judge allow 3 new witnesses who previously declined to testify. These witnesses reportedly came forward after seeing Diddy lose his cool, feeling safer now that his power seems to be slipping. Sources close to the case tell me these witnesses include a former security guard and 2 assistants with first-hand knowledge of Diddy's alleged behavior. 50 Cent keeps turning up the heat too. Since the courtroom confrontation, he's posted 7 times about the case, each message more pointed than the last. His most recent post showed a split screen of Diddy in court next to the security footage with the caption, "Actions speak louder than lawyers." It got over 3 million likes in just 6 hours. He's also announced a new documentary series called Music Industry Secrets that many believe will focus on Diddy. The most striking change might be Cassie herself. Court observers noted her completely different demeanor when she returned to testify after Diddy's outburst. She sat straighter, spoke more confidently. Her attorney confirmed this shift. "My client feels validated. She's finding her voice with each day of this trial." Legal experts believe Diddy's courtroom behavior severely damaged his case. Jury consultant Sarah Matthews explained, "Jurors make decisions based on behavior they witnessed themselves. They just watched him lose control. That's going to stick with them more than any testimony." Another trial analyst noted the jury's body language visibly shifted after the outburst, with several members leaning away from Diddy. Beyond the trial itself, Diddy's business empire shows cracks. Shares in his Revolt Media company dropped 14% after the courtroom incident. 3 major brands have quietly paused their partnerships with his liquor companies. His talent agency reportedly put his representation under review. Industry insiders estimate he could lose up to $200 million in business deals regardless of the verdict. The power dynamics have completely flipped. Diddy, once untouchable, now watches his empire crumble while Cassie gains momentum daily. And with 50 Cent promising more revelations to come, this case has become about much more than just one relationship. It might expose secrets the entire music industry has kept hidden for decades. The music industry power map just got completely redrawn. Diddy, who controlled his image and intimidated the industry for decades, now sits at the defense table watching his empire crumble in real time. Cassie, once afraid to speak out, stands stronger each day with unexpected allies like 50 Cent backing her claims. Nobody predicted this flip in power dynamics. 50's calculated move transformed what should have been an easy win for Diddy into a public reckoning that gets messier daily. This case isn't just about Diddy anymore. It's opened the door for others to speak up about powerful figures in music who thought they were untouchable. The silence is breaking.